Mr. Angels, this is the weekly reading, beginning with the dice and forget it. Spend money. Your choice and romantic dinner. Spirit still says forget it. Cocktail. Stay in bed. And still your choice. With the cards, we are beginning with spring. Your love is blooming. Your answers arrive in spring. We saw this in the last moon reading, the Libra moon reading, that things were starting now, and what was starting now would culminate more so over the summer. So I guess that's what that's talking about. And it may have something to do with either some progress that we're making finally on something. You know, it was just in the idea stage, and now it's moved to something where maybe we're actively working on it on our phone, where we're making calls and things, and we're having the faith that it's actually going to come to pass. You know, with this Two of Wands here. Or in the case of romantic situations, there could be something, you know, a relationship that's deepening. And this person with whom it's deepening may, in fact, be a soulmate of yours, or even a twin flame. The Two of Wands is the twin flame card of the tarot. It is followed here by the Queen of Wands, who is also upright, and she is possibly a direct fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Speaking of a direct fire sign, we also have the Sun upright. Sun represents the sign of Leo in the tarot. I'm sorry, Sun represents the sign of Sagittarius in the tarot, but Earth's star, the Sun, rules the sign of Leo, is what I meant to say. The next card is in reverse. It is also of the Wands. So I want to show it to you, but it's the Five of Wands in reverse. So maybe some drama or something that had been going on coming to an end, or having come to an end. You were successful. Here you sit now as the Queen of Wands, upright with the Sun here. Everything's better. Some things that had been done in the dark had some light shown on them. So you have some clarity now, increased information. Maybe that's what's helped something to move, whether it's a general aspect of your life or in your romantic life, something able to move, deepen, become more real, more tangible. And then here we have the Four of Wands. So more of this Wands energy. It's time to kick back, to relax, and to celebrate all that you have. Joy arises from success in your career, the completion of a project, or a very happy home life. Of course, the Four of Wands is a card that is of, you know, it represents just joy, happiness, household, family. Success in terms of your manifestation, you having successfully manifested the things that you were working on. This could be about remodeling, redecorating, getting a new home, entering a new relationship, or again, a relationship deepening, reaching new heights, a new level of commitment, up to and even including marriage. This is what the Four of Wands is about. Behind the Four of Wands, we have yet more of these Wands cards. The next card is in reverse, but I'll show it to you because it is Major Arcana card 11, Strength, which represents the sign of Leo. We were just talking about a moment ago. And Strength is one of those cards, is whether it's upright or in reverse, it still pretty much means the same thing. The strength of the card and of the meaning is lessened, perhaps, when it's in reverse, or we are not using our full strength, our full potential. We're not using all of our gifts, all of our intelligence, all of our wits, all of our abilities to serve us. We have, you know, more things that we could be drawing upon that we're not. True strength, though, is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. The next card is also in Wands. It's the Ten of Wands, which is an end of a cycle. Tens are about an end of a cycle. And maybe, again, a cycle involving some sort of relationship, whether it's with your soulmate or your twin flame or a good friend or a family member. We have the Two of Cups behind this, a relationship that continues to grow closer, forgiveness, and the positive resolution of a conflict, sitting atop the Star. Major Arcana card 17, the Star, which represents the sign of Aquarius and is about wish fulfillment. So, you know, that takes us like sort of full circle to this Four of Wands. Wish fulfillment could be, again, success in a relationship, success in your career, success in, you know, something involving home purchase, home sale, home decoration, remodel, whatever it is. Just making yourself feel it, whatever's making you happy, whatever brings you joy, success in that, or again, successful manifestation. The fully manifested, it's complete. Something you wish for, prayed about, you know, again, worked on manifesting, dreamed of, an idea that you conceived that, you know, started out as a One of Wands, an Ace of Wands, and then became a 2, then a 3, and then the 4. You know, all started with this dream of this goal you wanted to reach with the star. So we have that. Star also a very healing energy for me. So if there had been some maybe challenges in a relationship, you know, that may be for what you wished. You know, give me strength to help to heal this relationship. And then we do have, you know, again, not as strong as the strength card can be. So, but we do have progress. And then we ultimately can end up here with this Four of Wands as our overall energy. Your choice in the die may also have something to do with this. I went to pick up the cards and masculine fell away. Your divine masculine, your twin or soulmate is seeking you. That could be tied to this, again, 2 of Wands and or 4 of Wands that we have here. And maybe even to the wish fulfillment. Maybe it's his wish. Maybe he's the one that was trying to manifest the connection. You know, a lot of us have been seeing people in our dreams, you know, whether they're people we know, or people we're meant to know at a later date. I talked about friends that I have that gift pretty strong, where they dream about people before they meet them, or, you know, soulmates and stuff, the boyfriends and things. Yeah, forgive. But sometimes we'll be visited by people we know, people we've been involved with in our dreams. And, you know, it said that happens because they're trying to manifest us. You know, maybe some of us are alone. We are in separation, abandoned, lonely, lost. But the divine is still with you. And opposite that, we have forgive, tranquility, peaceful mind and heart, freedom from the past. So, yeah, it's possible masculine trying to come through in your dreams. He is the one doing the manifesting. Blessings, protection, attention, love. Your guides are always with you. I posted something on my Facebook. It was a TikTok, a tarot reader. I don't know her. She just popped up on my TikTok. I only even have the account so that my daughters can send me stuff. So when I log in there, whatever pops up, obviously I get to see. And it was this. Oh, nice. The overall energy is now romance in this deck. The next card is Rise Above. It says drama, obstacles, pettiness, find the strength to rise. So this is giving me that feelings similar to the 5 of Wands. It was also in reverse now. And then, you know, there's a much better, more fresh, more healthy energy that we're left with. Revel, flow, savor, entice, and open yourself to romance. So this woman, this reader or astrologer, whatever she was, I don't remember what she was. She was talking about 2 divine masculine. So I posted on my page that I was triggered because I had been feeling that too. And not just for myself, but, you know, in general. As I say that, there goes one of them right there. The King of Cups. He is possibly a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. In my case, a Scorpio. And someone from my past. Maybe someone from your past. 6 of Cups, also a soulmate card in the tarot. King of Cups in reverse, somebody willing to do any and everything for what they want. So not just love, but in a general sense as well. Except when it comes to work. That's the only place where the meaning changes. Like it's pretty much that the same in you know, all the aspects. But as it relates to work, the King of Cups can be somebody that has some sort of like emotional breakdown at the office or goes off on somebody. It like causes some sort of stir. And it is opposite the Eight of Cups here. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so she was talking about the two Knight of Cups now. Also possibly a direct water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. And for me, X is returning. Is the Knight of Cups. Followed by the Page of Pentacles. When they show up as pages, sometimes I feel like, you know, maybe they had some sort of, if you're alone, if you're in separation, maybe they had left, you know, again, thinking of also this Eight of Cups that it's opposite, because they had some sort of like growing up to do. In this case, maybe financial. They were trying to like get their money up and maybe get a better job or something. May have been at the root of them walking away from you, or however your separation occurred. But now we have a Three of Cups. This is a card of reunion. Could definitely be reunion, and or maybe again meeting that person that you've been dreaming about that you don't even know who they are in person by attending a social event. So anyway, yeah, I had been seeing and feeling stuff for not only myself, but in general too, for everybody, or for, I guess not everybody, but a lot of us. Not everybody's gonna have two divine masculine, but that was an energy that was coming, like two masculine coming toward you at the same time. And maybe that's what your choice is about with the dice. Like, you're gonna have to pick. You're gonna have to figure out which one is appropriate. And they weren't both in this. I guess it was a tarot reading. I don't remember what it was, what she was doing, but I guess it was a tarot reading. But so in this reading, they weren't both the same. Like, one was coming like with good intentions, and one was still up to no good or something. So maybe we should be on the lookout for that. Overall energy here now, the Hangman in reverse, followed by Everything is Fine, also in reverse. Six of Pentacles, also in reverse. Last deck I'm going to shuffle here. So we talked about and looked at the Four of Wands. Oh, look at that! I opened right up to the other Strength card. Great inner strength, released harsh judgments, instead exercise some forgiveness and compassion. Again, Strength represents the sign of Leo, and it was sitting atop another Two of Wands. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors, or to expand the number of people who are helping you. And similar to the Ten of Wands that we saw, there is a Ten of Swords here, indicating an end of a cycle, end of difficulty. The end of a career path, project, or relationship brings feelings of mixed joy and sadness, relief and disappointment. Put aside your fears about these changes and trust that a brighter future awaits. These changes may involve a Queen of Swords. She may have cut somebody off, to be honest with you. She is a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And she may be involved in this situation, all up in the mix of it. Or her energy. You could be empowered by this energy. The Queen of Swords. Think Venus. You know, so goddess, love, abundance, and definitely being able to figure out what is not in your best interest and cutting it off. They call the Queen of Swords the Feng Shui Queen. She knows how to reorganize her life, redecorate with the people, places, and things that don't belong of it out. Objective decision making, clearing away all that no longer serves you, and seeing the humor in a situation. Even if you're at the butt of the joke, as they say. Queen of Swords, pretty good at that. Laughing at herself even. All right, so I'm going to put these in here, all the ones that we looked at and talked about. I just opened up to the other Ten of Wands too. Isn't this funny? Okay, and it's stuck to a card. Another Six of Pentacles in reverse. I just said there was Six of Pentacles in reverse is here behind the Hangman. And then because it was like sort of stuck, I picked them up two at once. It was showing me that the Lovers is also here. True and long-lasting love finds its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring, choices and actions. All right. I have some other stuff I'm going to share with y'all, but I think I'll wait maybe next week. It's like classic Queen of Swords stuff. Like about how the past is coming back. And I got dates and I got receipts. Let's put it that way. I got receipts. Things are happening. Womp womp. New overall energy is the Five of Cups. Things not turning out the way you'd hoped. Not seeing the positive in a situation and crying over spilled milk. And it's here at top Justice. We also have the Three of Wands upright. The Ace of Cups upright. Atop the Three of Swords. The Eight of Cups. So it looks like there was some sort of two death cards, one upright, both upright, back to back from two different decks. Two death cards. Then the Four of Swords. So there may have been this could be about a person that walked away. I mean, it could be about a lot of things, but one of the things is person that walked away from a situation, possibly a relationship. They like needed a break. They may have ghosted completely, honestly, which of course would have been hurtful. But if this has happened to you, you know, there's a fresh new energy here. The beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or the awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. And there's progress in that area. We've got the Three of Wands here. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time. Make long-term plans. Again, it means you can see this thing that you've been manifesting that's been coming into your life actually taking shape, taking form, even if it's still on the horizon. And you've got to be a little bit more patient because it's not completely here yet. You can see it happening. So we have justice upright, justice, you know, in your favor, things going your way, maybe even literally, you know, like an illegal case or something, but maybe not everything, like one thing. And it's not something to, you know, get all bent out of shape about, because we have justice, again, this major arcana card 8 in your favor. It's not really, the Five of Cups can't really take this down, you know. But maybe you had your hopes, your heart set on, you know, just a larger win, and just something doesn't go your way, or there's some additional effort that's required for things to go your way, or something like that. So that's where we get this Five of Cups in reverse. All right, so let's go with these now. Card that will most directly represent us this week is the Page of Cups in reverse. Surrounding energy, close family members, co-workers, friends, close friends. Two of Swords in reverse. Work and finance. Another Three of Wands, this time in reverse. Love and relationship. Ooh. The Devil. Upright. Physical health. Ace of Wands. And spiritual health. Ace of Swords. Two aces in a spread, very auspicious, can mean other things separate and apart from these placements, like new homes and stuff happening for people, babies being born, all kinds of wonderful things. So I didn't really say anything about our overall energy, the Hangman in reverse. So let's start with that. So the Hangman in general, because it can be, first of all, it can be a very, very spiritual card. So it can be about you, you know, going through like ascension and change, a shift, and that creates the need for you to release some aspect of your life that doesn't fit like where you're going. Like you can't take those things with you. There's no room for them in your bag where you're going. You know what I mean? That type of thing. But also it can be about a life situation, a relationship or something. Well, I guess that would be a life situation. A relationship is a life situation too. Something that's at a crossroad in your life. And it's like one with only two options. There's only two choices, left or right, up or down, yes or no, you know, no in between. So this is not a time to try to like control the outcomes, or the situations themselves, or any other people that may be involved. It's really just a time to like look at ourselves and those options, and to like sort of deliberate. Maybe you got to literally weigh the pros and cons. Sometimes I'll make a list of pros and cons of a situation, or my opinion of a person, or something like that, before I decide like what I'm going to do in that area. If you don't know what to do at all, then that can also be a sign to do nothing. Then again, my old boss used to say no response means no. So maybe that's still a choice too. Maybe you've chosen the no of the two options, yes or no. Could be another way to potentially look at it. This also, so I was talking about letting go of things. These things, the time has come when this card shows up, typically to let go of some sort of outdated, again, could be a whole situation, relationship, friendship, attitude, ideology, way of life, belief system, because your vibration has shifted, increased beyond this person, place, or thing. And so they are like literally no longer on your wavelength, or you're literally no longer on theirs. And so that's why it has to go. Sometimes we just, like fight rather than let go of something. But we've seen the Eight of Cups a few times just during my shuffling, which is why I do the shuffling that way. So you guys can see the whole picture, the whole story, as it unfolds when I see it, So definitely an indication of a need to walk away from something or someone. And I'm going to say now, because of the Hanged Man, that the reason is because you have outgrown it spiritually, vibrationally, and especially in reverse, more so than when the card is upright. You're really encouraged not to fight this change, like to go with the flow, which can take us, it's a nice segue to the Page of Cups, which may involve an actual Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, or someone like into those traits or attributes in your life, perhaps younger than you, perhaps maybe even your child or a child. But again, this is the card that's representing you most directly. So if it does involve somebody else outside of you, then it would be to discuss like how you're impacted. Like this is your focus. You're so directly impacted that it takes over your week, basically. So for most of us, though, this card is going to be about us specifically, and our need to allow ourselves to play and have fun and dream and, just enjoy life, but also with some sort of balance, remembering that we got to also remain grounded in reality. So like knowing the difference between dreams and wishful thinking. And like what's really happening and, what's in our mind. So like fantasy and reality. And then in that reality, have a good time. Don't be uptight. It's just like, it's hard to describe, but it's like, yes, play, have a good time, enjoy life. It's too short not to enjoy, or too long not to enjoy. But at the same time, the card talks about like boundaries and stuff that we shouldn't cross, because, like eventually we have to pay the piper. you know, if we cross certain lines. It's just like about actions having consequences. So it's like have fun, but not too much, kind of. God, how do I describe this? Have good old fashioned, healthy, safe fun, um, and yeah, don't do anything that would cause karma to pay you a visit. With love, it can be about us having our hearts like just too set on one person, or I guess type of person or type of relationship in particular, and this thing is just not, or person, more likely a person, is just like literally not available to us for whatever reason. They're not emotionally available, maybe they're not physically available, they're in another relationship. That may be why the devil also shows up in the placement of love and relationship, and why it crosses here, this Page of Cups. I'll probably pull another card to further clarify the devil, but I've got some meanings already that I'm going to definitely share with you on that. But we can go ahead and move over to the Two of Swords in reverse, which represents, again, our surrounding energy. So, if there's something happening down at our place of work, or with our coworkers, our close friends, our family members that we're in touch with, close family members, spouse, ex-spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, baby daddy, baby mama, all that kind of stuff, husband, wife, I said spouse, so those kind of people, like our closest relationships surrounding us, most, that we'd somehow be affected by what goes on with them, at least indirectly. And so the Two of Swords in reverse is a card about partnership, largely. Also balance. And it shows up because it says that, or to tell us that the time may have finally come where we're like really ready to open ourselves up to like a deep and meaningful partnership. And this can be personal, so with a really good friend, or again, romantic, or this can be on a professional level too. This can be in business where, we're ready to trust somebody and have a partnership. But the caveat is, and particularly with it being in reverse, that we'll have to make sure, because of the balance part, that we keep our eyes on all the other aspects of our life too. So business, love, kids, it's like juggling. We got a bunch of plates on our hands that we have to hold up, you know what I mean? And so that's the key with this card, is like not getting so wrapped up in this one thing or this partnership, whatever kind of partnership it is, that the other aspects of our life are going unattended and have the potential to fall apart. The card also, in a general sense, like again, it really speaks about partnership. So it talks about, in its most general meaning, it talks about, again, partnerships of all kinds, and with the fact that we're probably going to have like several priorities in our life that need attention, but we have this, partnership that's a priority to us too, and just figuring out like how to order things, and again, how to give time to allot time to each thing with the proper amount of balance. Those partnerships are likely to deepen, similar to what we said earlier with the Two of Wands and the Four of Wands. And so, they really can take a lot of your attention, and just make sure you don't forget about the other stuff that goes on in your life. Moving on to the Three of Wands in reverse, the messages that we've been seeing in terms of relationships deepening, partnerships being created, movement happening, things being manifested, continues, right? This card continues to support that, because it tells us that we'll be making taking important steps, maybe even leaps, with regard to our work, whether we work for ourselves or for somebody else. If we're unemployed, that could be a leap into a new job that would be great for us. We could be preparing to start our own business in some way, or in general, we can expect, just good things with regard to whatever it is we do for a living. And we should not be shy at all right now during this time to let our talents be, obvious to people. Let your light shine and cooperate with others whenever you can. Threes are about collaboration and cooperation. With regard to finances specifically that don't necessarily have anything to do with what we do for a living, if we work at all, similar to with the upright meaning, the Three of Wands in reverse can indicate that things will be looking up in the very near future, like shortly, if they're not already. However, the increase that we come into is pretty much definitely expected, or you can pretty much definitely expect it to be tied to some sort of collaboration or cooperation or grouping with others. So it's the result of a group project. You all get a bonus, so you all, earn some sort of money or something for a group project. If inheritance is, coming to you, it comes to the group, the family, maybe siblings, maybe there's 3 of you. So it's to all. Some sort of grouping, collaboration, or as a result of cooperating with others on, some kind of level. And that brings us to love and relationship. If you're in a long-term romantic relationship, we've been talking about these long-term relationships for the past several weeks, I feel like it, that they're coming to an end or trying to come to an end. Like the writing is on the wall. I mean, I'm starting to feel like a broken record, like it's time to go. With the devil showing up, it means one or both parties may have gotten to the point where they feel as though they're just trapped in the situation, like they just want out. And if you're getting signals like this, that this is the case, of course, try to talk about it if you're interested in saving the relationship. But a lot of people, whether you're in a long-term relationship or not, a shorter one, this card just also sometimes appears when there's really nothing else that you can do about an unhealthy relationship but end it, We got choices like, overall energy about the Hangman. It's yes or no. You're in or you're out. You're going to keep the magic alive or let it die. That's your choice. We have choices. So if you're single and, seeking relationship or love, then this could be signaling that you've reached a point of desperation. And that kind of attitude is a turnoff for prospective partners, would be lovers or whatever. If you reeking of desperation, they can, sort of coming through your pores, kind of. So if that's the case, you should really consider taking a break. 4 of Swords, just time out from relationship seeking to maybe, get to know yourself a little better. Maybe just rest and relaxation is needed. Maybe you've just been driving yourself, you're stressing yourself out. You just need to chill. Whatever it is you need to do, just step away from it and then return to searching when you're feeling less anxious and urgent. I also feel like the devil in this placement of love, for some of us, is going to be about, the devil represents the sign of Capricorn. And this week, Pluto goes retrograde in the sign of Capricorn. I'm going to talk about that actually after I do the cards for those who want to stick around. And I think that the devil in this placement, for some, is about that. So however you'd be affected by the Pluto retrograde, it's saying it's going to show up in your love and relationship. And that's why the devil's there. So I just pulled another card. We got the 7 of Wands. So it's about defending yourself, protecting yourself, taking care of yourself. And that would be the case, if you make a decision to leave or you make a decision to stay and other people think you're crazy. Whatever your decisions are, this is signifying that you need to be prepared to defend your decisions and your beliefs and yourself with regard to whatever's going on here with the devil in your love life. I'll look at one more. Let's see what it says. It's about being stuck. So people are going to have their, but not really being stuck, right? Because she's not really stuck. This is open here and she could walk out. The devil is about feeling trapped, right? Feeling stuck, potentially, in the relationship. And this is saying you're not really. And, you know, just as soon as you feel like you're able, make a decision, yes or no, and then be prepared to defend that decision. This could be why we even have the Ace of Swords here in this placement of spirituality, because the Ace of Swords, comes after the Ten of Swords. It is the only one of the aces that can be attached to, I don't want to say negativity, but, it comes after challenge. It's like rising from the ashes. It's victory, So sometimes we're still encountering some bumps in the road when the Ace of Swords shows up, as opposed to the Ace of Wands, which can be about new, wonderful things in love, career, just movement in general. Wands are about movement. This can be about travel, an opportunity to travel, maybe work and travel and love, maybe meet somebody while you're away on business, collaborating with others, like all of it. But the Ace of Swords usually comes after we've had some sort of difficulty, so like after the Ten of Swords. Specific to this placement, speaking of that Ace of Wands, you'll soon reach like just positive levels of health, energy, vitality. It's an excellent time to begin maybe a new health regime in terms of a new diet, a new exercise program. I myself am going on a new diet. You wouldn't believe this freaking diet. It's not a diet like to lose weight. I mean, hopefully that happens too. But it's a diet in terms of a manner of eating that is so freaking restrictive. Basically, I can't eat the stuff that's normally considered good for people because I eat too much of it. I've shared with you guys before that I was, raised basically to eat like homemade, organic, cage-free, wild caught. We always ate the best stuff. My mother didn't allow us to have a microwave. She shoved oil of oregano and black seed oil and codfish liver oil down our throats my whole life growing up and all that kind of stuff. So I should have just maintained that. But then I had the wise idea in my 40s to go completely vegan, as opposed to just the way that I had been eating, which was largely vegan or vegetarian, with little spurts and bouts of my daughter and I would do like just months at a time of whole organic raw vegan only, and then go back to eating regular food. Anyway, my stomach is so fucked up because whether people want to believe it or not, veganism can lead to all kinds of metabolic imbalance and intolerance, hormone intolerance and imbalance, particularly insulin, and it's a mess. So that will fuck up your stomach in addition to potentially other things. I mean, some people have gone through some really horrible things after it. So anyway, because my stomach was screwed up. My stomach is in part screwed up from 9/11 too. So it's not just that. It's like everything at once, like I was turning 50, so my hormones are changing, but I fucked up my hormonal system with the veganism, but I also had like gas, GI problems from 9/11. So it's a whole thing. So I asked my doctor about a nutritionist, and he thought that was a great idea. So I started seeing one, and she sent me this diet that I guess is for people that have like Crohn's disease or an irritable bowel syndrome or one of those kind of things. And for example, like when I say stuff that normally is good for you to eat, like all the raw roughage and stuff, I can't eat that. If I'm gonna have rice, it has to be very little, even if it's like black rice, even if it's like the most healthiest thing, I can't eat that. Like things like agave and which is a healthy sugar, honey, those are on the list. Can't eat those. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It encourages like a lot of smoothies and liquids rather than, again, roughage and things that could possibly mess up your stomach. So I'm going to try it. I got myself some smoothie stuff, some protein and whatnot, and I'm going to try to start tomorrow. Um, very long story short. So getting back to all of us, yes, a new health regime. So maybe a new diet. Hopefully yours won't be as crazy as mine. But a new exercise plan, a new, you commit to meditating 15 minutes a day or whatever it is. Start where you are. And, if this means exercising for 2 minutes or eating vegetables at one meal a week or whatever, then that's what you should do. But the payoff is going to be so huge. So don't delay. And this too, now that I think about it, may have something to do with Scorpio, or with Pluto rather, because Scorpio, Pluto, does rule sort of physical health and everything. Even though that wouldn't necessarily explain the wands. I mean, Scorpio is in part ruled by Mars, which is wands, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, if you're planning on starting something, definitely implement that. It is going to pay off big time. And last but not least, the Ace of Swords. So this, similar to our overall energy, is about letting go of a belief system, or it can be. It can mean that you're finally ready to let go of some sort of belief system or whatever. It just really, it hasn't worked for you for some time. But I guess you kept trying to keep it up. Don't beat yourself up if been holding on to some sort of viewpoints, beliefs, practices that you shouldn't have, that you probably knew you should have let go of, moved on from a long time ago. Like a lot of people do this with Christianity, they decide to cease to be or to identify as a Christian, for example, and they did that a long time ago and they stopped going to church, but they still do a lot of things that are like Christian, that are religious, basically. So maybe you're still celebrating the holidays. Maybe you don't go to church for any of the days except for Easter and Christmas or whatever. And, and you're deciding now, or your spirit is deciding for you that even those things need to stop. And this is not specific to Christianity. I'm just using that as an example, because it's definitely a popular one, at least in the United States here. We're not meant to be. We have freedom of religion in the First Amendment, but we're kind of a Christian nation, a majority Christian. And so, that's the one that I see most often. So it popped up in my head first. Anywho, just, everyone makes mistakes or gets a hold of the wrong ideas or, just the wrong end of the stick in general, from time to time. And we're going to find that some spiritual truths that are going to be, that are more appropriate to us will be very, very beneficial. And so in releasing the ones that aren't and taking on these new ones, and just going with the flow of that, again, it's going to pay off. Similar to the Ace of Wands in our physical health. Don't hesitate to talk to others about, what works for them on a spiritual level. If, you feel you are looking for support or camaraderie or collaboration or anything like that, you should be open to talking to other people about it. For the additional clarification, joining the Page of Cups, with the Five of Pentacles. So this is a fear of lack. Could be a fear of not being able to have fun, not being able to enjoy life. And the Page of Cups is enjoying us to do that. Focusing upon the negative as opposed to the good things in our life and enjoying life. And worrying about money or our careers or other things, or worrying about anything really, can block our progress. So, this card is showing up here to warn us of that. Joining the Two of Swords in our surrounding energy, we have the Wheel. Everything's going to turn around for the better. So whatever situations we're experiencing, and that one or two things on which we need to focus, it's going to pay off. I keep using this phrase, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off for us to, prioritize our priorities and focus on them and make sure that we're giving time, the fair amount of time to everything, because the wheel's turning in our favor. And there's going to be some changes that are very, very positive if we allow them. Expect a sudden positive change in your life. You can now move forward and make great progress. Major Arcana card 10, the wheel represents the planet Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius, which it rules, but also the fixed signs of the zodiac. So more Leo, more Scorpio, more Aquarius that we talked about earlier too, and add Taurus in there as well. Work and finance, joining the 3 of Wands. We have the Knight of Swords, something coming in very, very quickly. Again, this could be news of a new job. It's news if you've been waiting for it, especially. It's, what you've been waiting to hear, what you want to hear. Something involving finances or work. A good, good news comes maybe in the mail, a letter or a phone call, you're hired or something. And then you're going to have to decide very quickly if you want, what your next step is. If you can take the job, yes or no. So it still ties back into our overall energy of this yes or no energy and decisions that we're having to make. Knight of Swords may involve direct air sign as well, a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. They are intelligent, decisive, idealistic, and tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options, like I was talking before about reviewing your options, pros and cons, and all that kind of stuff. And that will help you to come up with creative solutions. Joining the 8 of Swords, the Devil, and the, what was the other card? Whoa. Oh, the 7 of Wands. How could I have forgotten that? Yes, joining them. I'll probably have to put this down to fix this. Oh, boy. Okay. Is the world. It makes perfect sense, right? Because the world is also about something coming full circle, about a phase having ended, about a situation having ended. And the way that I read it is often is about something like a relationship that we know we should have ended, we should have gotten out of a long time ago, and we didn't. And because we didn't, the universe may be ready to end that relationship for us. So whatever that means, like if we don't do it ourselves, the way that I read the world, it's the universe will step in and end it for you. Whether that means you, I don't know, the other person suddenly asks you for a divorce or breaks up with you or ghosts you when you should have done it with them prior, or I don't know, something else happens that causes things to end. The world is a fire energy for me, so more wands. It just feels like fire. And there's a positive aspect to it too, about you having completed a cycle, a phase, in your life. A job well done, joy, contentment, and gratitude in the path toward enlightenment. So universe not only ending something, but also moving you in, putting you on a new path or moving you into a new situation for which you are better suited, or that is better suited for you. Next up, joining the Ace of Wands in the physical health area, it is the Ace of Pentacles. This is awesome. The inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, and important documents or contracts. Ace of Pentacles is also very much about brand new starts, things that you're starting. So again, maybe new diets and things that are going to be extremely successful and worth your while, right? Valuable to you, beneficial to you. Joining the Ace of Swords in the spiritual health, we have another 2 of Swords. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think Yeah, this might be why you were holding on to a belief system. Because, you know, what's mama going to say if I tell her I don't want to go to church anymore? Like, oh, Lord. That's like worse than burning the chicken. Don't get me started. But, you know, it's that type of thing, okay? So procrastination and worrying about what others are going to think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. And lastly, from the Twin Flame Oracle, joining the Five of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, we have yes. So I would say the answer to your question, or the card says the answer to your question is yes. And definitely yes to having fun and, you know, loosening up and letting your hair down and getting back out there into life. And maybe taking a chance on love also. I didn't talk about the Page of Cups with regard to love. I talked about the King of Cups that had also shown up in reverse. And with regard to love, again, he's willing and able to do whatever it takes to get what he wants in that area. So this is telling you to take your chances too. Surrounding energy, joining the Wheel and the Two of Swords. Correct? Yes, in reverse. We have material world. So again, this is stuff that you're juggling, stuff that you're balancing. But should go in your favor if you give everything the right attention. Money, career, status, third dimension. Make your mark. Those around you doing this as well, but you are somehow involved, impacted. Knight of, or joining the Knight of Swords rather, and the Three of Wands in reverse in our work and finance. We have surrender. It was in reverse, but there are no reversals in this deck. I just wanted to mention it was in reverse. Detach, trust, free fall. Have faith that all will be well. I think this is especially to those who are starting something new, a new job, a new business. Again, maybe beginning to travel for your work or something. It's this news. It comes in. It's positive, but it could be scary because it's change. Right? Remember the sudden change that comes up here with the Wheel. That could definitely have something to do with your work and finance. When I said something going on at the job, coworkers, all that kind of stuff. So that sudden change, you know, it's positive, but it still changes sometimes like scary. So this is guiding you to surrender into that. Joining the World, the Devil, the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Wands, in the love and relationship. We have creativity. So this is giving me like an Empress feel. Maybe in more 3, because the Empress is Major Arcana card 3. This is Major Arcana card 21. Some of us probably are in some sort of third party, you know, party of 3 situations, third party situations where, oh, like the two divine masculine. Yeah, like we got 2 divine masculine, or, you know, so that would be 3, us and the 2 divine masculine. Or you're in a relationship, again, you're a committed relationship, you're married or you live together or whatever. It's a committed relationship, probably long-term, going nowhere fast. And there is somebody else out there better for you, probably an ex that you're in touch with, party of 3. And I would say that other person is probably who this Empress represents. And I'm just noticing now that even in this picture, I mean, the card is titled Creativity, but even in this picture with this, the decoration in the coffee, it's like hearts, and it's 3 of them, but these are like coming apart. So only one heart is like together, and this was like coming apart. And then it also kind of looks like the World card, and these plants that are surrounding Archangel Michael there, right? You see like leaves or I see it at least. Yeah, so maybe some of you are afraid because you don't know again, the fear of the unknown with this other relationship, especially if it's an ex. You might be like, well, what if I leave my partner and go back to them and, you know, it's like it used to be. You could be afraid of that, you know, like, so that sucks too. Well, here's the thing. That's possible, although not likely according to these cards, but when you put it like that, it's like you're saying, what if I leave my partner and I go to that? You need to leave your partner anyway if you're that unhappy. So this shouldn't be dependent on this. This needs to happen, on its own, and then this can happen if you want. But again, the cards say yes. Physical health, joining the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. We have cycles, momentum, force, life cycles. Stay grounded and in the now. This is about, again, things moving for you in a positive direction with your health. And then last but not least, this is so perfect. Look what card we got. Hesitation. It totally matches up with this Two of Swords here with regard to, us being hesitant, and this Hangman, and, just what we've been talking about, being hesitant of letting go of the things that we're sort of attached to and are used to. But again, we are guided to. Past heartbreak, broken trust, and just being afraid to move forward. And in moving forward, afraid to leave things behind too, and to let go of stuff that doesn't work for us anymore. So that's what I have for you this week with the cards. I hope that you enjoy it and find it helpful. If you are interested, you can stick around for a moment. And again, I'm going to also go over a couple of things that are transits that are occurring and things this week. Right, just picking up my computer, opening it. Signing on. There we go. So there's a couple things. The Islamic or Muslim calendar, we continue to celebrate Ramadan. Muslims all over the world continue to fast all day until sundown, at which point they break the fast and enjoy a meal with their families. On the Christian calendar, let me start with that. Hebrew calendar, there's nothing. So I'll go to the Christian calendar, beginning with April 25th. That is Monday. The Feast of St. Mark, the Evangelist. And for a little about St. Mark, I've gone to www.catholic.org. St. Mark, feast day, April 25th. He is the patron of notaries, Venice, and baristas. Interesting. He was born in the 1st century. He died on April 25th in the year 68 AD, it says. Much of what we know about St. Mark, the author of the second gospel, comes largely from the New Testament and early Christian traditions. Mark the Evangelist is believed to be the John Mark, that's in quotes, referred to in the Acts of the Apostles, the history of the early church found in the canon of the New Testament. He was the son of Mary of Jerusalem, Acts 12:12 is where you can find that information, whose home became a meeting place for the apostles. He's also the cousin of St. Barnabas. You can find that tidbit in Colossians 4:10. He was a Levite and a Cypriot, I guess like from Cyprus, Cypriot, or Cypriot, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. In any case, Mark joined St. Paul and St. Barnabas on their first missionary journey to Antioch in the year 44 AD. When the group reached Cyprus, Christian tradition holds that Mark left them and returned to Jerusalem, possibly because he was missing his home, Acts 13:13. This incident may have caused Paul to question whether Mark could be a reliable missionary. This created a disagreement between Paul and Barnabas and led Paul to refuse Mark's accompaniment on their second journey to the churches of Cilicia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either. Cilicia, Cilicia, and the rest of Asia Minor. However, it can be assumed the troubles between Paul and Mark did not last long, because when Paul was first imprisoned, Mark, who was at that time in Rome with plans of visiting Asia Minor, visited him instead as one of his trusted companions, and we can find that in Colossians 4:10. Mark's hopes to visit Asia Minor were most likely carried out because during Paul's second captivity and just before his martyrdom, Paul wrote to Timothy at Ephesus, advising him to, quote, take Mark and bring him with you to Rome, for he is profitable to me for the ministry, end quote. And this is in 2 Timothy 4:11. If Mark returned to Rome at this time, he was probably there when Paul was martyred. According to Christian tradition, Mark also had a close relationship with St. Peter, who referred to Mark as his son in his letter addressed to a number of churches in Asia Minor, 1 Peter 5:13. Clement of Alexandria, Irenaeus, and Papias all indicate that Mark was an interpreter for Peter. Although Papias states Mark had not personally heard the Lord speak firsthand, and like Luke, Mark was not one of the 12 apostles, some believe Mark was likely speaking of himself when he wrote the description of Jesus' arrest in Gethsemane. Quote, now a young man followed him wearing nothing but a linen cloth about his body. They seized him, but he left the cloth behind and ran off naked, end quote. Mark 14:51-52. St. Mark lived for years in Alexandria, where he died as a martyr while being dragged through the streets. Mark's gospel was probably written between 60 and 70 AD and was based upon the teachings of St. Peter. It is believed Mark provided both Luke and Matthew with basic sources for their gospels. He was probably the first bishop of Alexandria, Egypt, and the founder of the Church of Alexandria, although he is not mentioned in connection to the city by either Clement of Alexandria nor by Origen. In 828, I guess the year 828, relics of St. Mark were stolen from Alexandria and taken to Venice, Italy. There they are enshrined in a beautiful cathedral dedicated to the saint. St. Mark's symbol is a winged lion. Maybe that's an explanation for all the Leo energy we saw today. This is believed to be derived from his description of St. John the Baptist as, quote, a voice of one crying out in the desert, Mark 1:3. The wings come from Ezekiel's vision of 4 winged creatures as the evangelists. He is often depicted as writing or holding his gospel. He is sometimes shown as a bishop on a throne or as a man helping Venetian sailors. St. Mark is the patron saint of Venice. His feast day is celebrated on April 25th. So this week also on the Christian calendar, actually it's the day before, it's Sunday the 24th, probably a lesser known feast day, the Feast of Divine Mercy or Divine Mercy Sunday. And for this, I just went to www.wikipedia.org. Divine Mercy Sunday, also known as the Feast of Divine Mercy, is celebrated on the second Sunday of Easter, which concludes the octave of Easter. The feast is observed by Catholics as well as some Anglo-Catholics of the Church of England. It is not, however, an official Anglican feast. It is originally based on the Catholic devotion to the Divine Mercy that Faustina Kowalski reported as part of her encounter with Jesus, and is associated with special promises from Jesus and indulgences issued by the Catholic Church. The Feast of Divine Mercy, according to the diary of Kowalski, receives from Jesus the biggest promises of grace related to the devotion of the Divine Mercy. In particular, that a person who goes to sacrament confession, the confession may take place some days before, and receives Holy Communion on that day, shall obtain the total expiation of all sins and punishment. It means that Jesus will forgive them. That means each person would go immediately after death to heaven without suffering in purgatory. Additionally, the Roman Catholic Church grants a plenary indulgence, observing the usual rules with the recitation of some simple prayers. And if you ever been to a Catholic church or made confession, you know those simple prayers are typically the Our Father, the Hail Mary, and the Glory be to the Father. That part's not in there. I'm just sharing that with you. So we went over St. Mark, the Valley. Oh, I forgot to do Our Lady of Good Counsel. At the end of the week, on the 30th, is also the feast of Our Lady of the Valley. But that one is also celebrated on August 8th. So I think I talked about it at the beginning of the month. Our Lady of Good Counsel is Tuesday the 26th. And for this, I also went to Wikipedia. Our Lady of Good Counsel is the title given to the Blessed Virgin Mary after a painting said to be miraculous, which is now found in the 13th century Augustinian church at Ginazzano near Rome, Italy, measuring 40 to 45 centimeters or 16 to 18 inches. The image is a fresco executed on a thin layer of plaster, no thicker than an eggshell. Over the centuries, devotions to Our Lady of Good Counsel grew among saints and popes to the extent that a reference to it was added to the Litany of Loreto, and the devotion spread throughout the world. Her feast day is the 26th of April. And I've told this story before. This is the one where the people were trying to steal the painting and the oxen wouldn't move. They stopped. You know, they wouldn't. Anyway, it's a nice story if you want to look it up and read it. That's Our Lady of Good Counsel. Because I'm not going to go over it today. I'm not going to do Our Lady of the Valley. And so I think that's it on the Christian calendar. And I avoided going into any further detail because I want to talk. I mean, I'm sure this reading is going to be long enough. I want to talk a little bit about the planetary calendar. So beginning with the 29th at 2:30, April 29th at 2:35 p.m., Pluto turns retrograde, 28 degrees Capricorn. Also on the 29th at 6:23 p.m., Mercury enters Gemini at 0 degrees. And on the 30th at 4:47 a.m., the 30th is my grandmother's, was my grandmother's birthday. Pallas, the asteroid, enters Taurus at 0 degrees. And then also on the 30th at 4:28 p.m., we'll experience the new moon in Taurus and a partial solar eclipse as well. Also, of course, in Taurus. So I'll do a separate moon reading for that. But for a little bit more about Mercury and Gemini, I went to www.tarot.com. Mercury and Gemini, curious, social, quick-witted. Mercury, the planet of intellect and communication, has 2 home signs, Gemini and Virgo. When this planet sets up camp in Gemini, a cosmic door is swung open, helping us to become more clear-headed, objective, and mentally flexible. This is a time when we're encouraged to take in a huge breath of fresh Gemini air and to let curiosity teach our minds how to be young again. So young, playful, Page of Cups in reverse. Mercury is all about facts and ideas and ways to communicate that information. Gemini is an air sign associated with cool detachment and reason. Because of this, Mercury's time in Gemini becomes the ultimate channel for information to flow through. When this power duo gets together, thoughts rush through us at warp speed. That explains the Knight of Swords. If it feels like you're being pulled into a dozen different directions or that you're a little more distracted than usual, there's a good chance that Mercury is in Gemini. The combination of Mercury and Gemini means we'll probably be thinking in tangents, never able to follow through with a single thought for too long. Imagine a bee buzzing around inside a jar. That's what our minds are like during this transit. Mercury and Gemini are both into facts and data. Open subjects like philosophy, the meaning of life, and other big picture concerns become less important to us when Mercury moves into this sign. Because of this, talk may come more easily for all of us, even though the truth could be hard to find. If you're hoping Mercury and Gemini might give you the ideas needed to write that original novel or to come up with the next big innovation, don't set your hopes too high. Follow through is not Mercury and Gemini's strong suit. It's more likely that one idea will float into another, which will float into another. That's why when I talk, I'm all over the place, because I'm a Gemini, and I'm also Mercury and Gemini is also my natal placement. Okay. Yeah, so follow through is not Gemini's strong suit. It's more likely that one idea will flow into another, which will flow into another. Best to keep a voice recorder on hand and revisit these flashes of brilliance later. I talked about that last week, actually, like writing a journal, like a diary, keeping a diary of ideas. It goes on to talk about what it means for Mercury to be retrograde in Gemini. I think that does happen this year, actually. So I'll talk about that later when it happens. Moving on to Pluto, which is going retrograde again the same day that Mercury enters Gemini, the 29th of April. Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. I also, or again, went to www.tarot.com. Sure, Pluto was demoted to a dwarf planet in astronomy back in 2006, but in astrology, Pluto is one of the most potent planets, and it will be even more so as Pluto retrogrades in the Sirius sign of Capricorn from April 29th through October 8th of 2022. At times, deep Pluto is a cosmic detective determined to find the real story. Other times, Pluto is like an outspoken dinner guest who blurts out secrets and reveals hidden truths about everyone at the table. Anybody that watches Power, Power 3, when the daughter was at the table and she told everybody's business last season. Anyway, was that Power 2? Power 2 with Monet and them. Anyway, when a planet goes retrograde or moves backward through the zodiac, it often creates a bizarro world of everything it stands for. Communication planet Mercury creates miscommunication, and technology breaks down when retrograde, for example. But Pluto's backward shift doesn't make us confused. It makes us reflective. That's what I was saying about the love and relationship. Like how Pluto will cause us to act when it's in Capricorn, for some is going to show up in your love and relationship sector. So it's making you reflect on your shitty relationship. I'm sorry, that's what it is. So yeah, when Pluto goes retrograde, it will make us reflect. Instead of Pluto creating sticky situations in the outside world, it forces us to look inward. First, it's important to realize that Pluto was named after the Roman god of the underworld, aka the land of the dead. Like its namesake, the planet Pluto rules over the shadow side of everything and everyone. So when Pluto is charged up and moving direct or forward, issues of corruption and buried stories may surface. So this is, when we're talking about the underworld, the dead, land of the dead, this is, has like Osiris written all over it, all of it. And I guess a rise of his energy. All right. Issues of corruption, buried stories may surface. We could learn that a politician has been taking bribes, a celebrity has been having an affair, or that a friend, I guess on a more local level, has been saying negative things about us behind our backs. That's not a friend. That's a Judas, which I also talked about last week. So when Pluto goes retrograde, it forces us to focus on our own personal shadow sides, specifically the unpleasant parts of our personalities that we may not really like. Two big themes that Pluto likes to highlight are power and desire. With Pluto retrograde, we'll have to get honest with ourselves about how much we're motivated by a need for recognition, money, and authority. At the same time, we might have to confront the darker sides of what we want. For example, are we working hard to get in shape because we're truly concerned about our health? Or are we spurred by a desire for revenge on an ex who didn't appreciate us? The good old revenge body. With Pluto retrograde for 5 months, this period of personal reckoning allows us to do a lot of purging too. Once we see traits in ourselves that we dislike, we can work to improve them. We can also revisit old hurts and hang-ups as Pluto sheds light on the darker corners of our experiences. In this way, we can grow, which highlights Pluto's key role in our lives, transformation. And with that, I will bring this reading to a close. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and I do hope you find it helpful in your life this week, just navigating through all that you have to navigate through. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. I'll be back with the moon reading. Namaste.